All right. Well, as you can see, we're gonna start getting ready to get this thing out. Traditionally, I think most people just pull the front clip off, but you know, I don't do things normally, so I really don't care because the transmission is also going to stay in the car. Oh, this is really weird because, you know, G-body things, I guess you take this whole clip off sometimes. You take the whole transmission out, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Used to doing stuff like that all the time, just taking the trans out by itself, taking the engine out by itself. So that's what we're gonna do. We made it work. So everything's unbolted. The engine's unbolted from the mounts. The engine's unbolted from the bell housings, unbolted from the transmission. The fuel lines, the fuel line, that's all it is unbolted from the car, and everything else is disconnected. So we're ready to pull this out. So I'm going to grab the chain back there. We're gonna get this situated. I think I'm gonna put one up here on this corner and then try to get one fished out here in the back of this corner somewhere. We'll have to figure that out, as this isn't like a traditional like LS. So I really don't care if something breaks. We're just gonna get everything cooked out, I think back there, or back there, back in front here. And then we'll just start to put a little bit of tension on it. I know I put a flat head screwdriver and just kind of pry and finagle its way out, and then eventually what happens, it gives, and then you just pull the whole engine out. So that's the plan. We'll do that, and then we'll go from there. While we're here, got loaded up, just trying to get the engine away from the trans. That's the current project. I mean, literally when that's done, it's done, but holy shit. It's being a pain in the ass. I fucking hate these things. Oh, excuse me. All right, look at that. It's out. There's the one that's going to be replacing that chunk of metal. Don't mind the trash cans. Just finished everything up here. As you can see, it's out. Transmission is still in there. The bolts that are really hard to get to are those two right there. Those are a pain in the ass, but I was able to get to them, and I already started bending that stuff up. I need to get under there and get that pushed down so that's flat. That way when I put the LS back in here, I can get my hand back down there and we can tighten those up. So everything is ready to go. I have all the wiring harness here. I have to look at the diagram on this and figure out which wires I need for the gauges. And I'm gonna try to keep like the ignition switch, so you can just use the stock ignition switch in the car to fire on or fire up the, you know, do the starter, do the fun stuff where it goes, you know, boo, 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 and fires. But it's ready to go. So I'm going to clean this stuff up here, and I got to get that in my truck and get that back to my father-in-law so he can list this. I'm hoping that he can get at least, you know, a couple hundred for that, because that, I think it's in good shape. I wonder if that manifold, because, you know, small block Chevy 4.3 stuff, even the 3800s, they leak by the intake manifold, and it might be a cracked head. I doubt it. This engine only has 43,000 on it, or 41,000. I think it was a have on. Yeah, 41,000 miles original, as you can see. I mean, for crying out loud, this thing is insane. And so that's what we're gonna do. I have the F-body oil pan on that. I have to pull it back off for the fact that I totally forgot to clean the windage tray up when I cut it, and I'm really not going to be a fan of having all those fine dust particles on there. So I'm gonna take that back off and spray that and then put it back on. So, and then what we'll do is it'll go in just like that. We'll lift it in here and we'll get it situated. We'll put the mounts on it. And I need to look up, because people that put the F-body pans, they have to notch that section right there. But I'm doing the LS adapters, which are like, I can show you here. They'll use the stock clamshells. Where are they? Right here. So they're like these adapters. I've used them a couple times now. So they bolt to these bolt to the LS engine, and then they bolt to the stock clamshells that are on there, and then they bolt to there. So I would think they would raise the engine far enough up. I don't know. I've been talking to people about it. Everybody I've heard, so I'm trying to do a deep dive on it. It'd be sweet if I didn't have to cut that, because then that's a really easy solution. Then it's like, you know what, F-body, oil pan. These things, they run like 26, 30 bucks. And you bolt it in and call it a day. Oh, I'm not damaging this camshaft. I want to save it. I'm going to do a 4.8 at some point with this cam in it. This is the early 4.853 cam that makes like the lowest horsepower ever. And I'm going to put an LS3 intake manifold on a 4.8 and see if I can make the lowest horsepower possible, because I'm insane and nothing else better to do in my life. So that's where we're at right now. We will get that taken care of and get it in the car, and the next update will be the engine in the car, and then we'll start doing the exhaust and running the fuel line and probably get the radiator and fans in, and then I can work on the wiring after that. So that's a quick little update, but we're good. We're making progress.